Hey, what's going on, guys? Doug DeMarco here, and let's talk some movies. All right, so about a month or two ago, did a real early review of a movie because I got a screener access to it, and same thing here, screener access to X Men: Age of Apocalypse. So I didn't have to sign an NDA for this. I have friends who work in the theater business. Some of them get early prints, and they show them on screen, test screen. So it's all a big thing. Anyways, I'm not special. Anybody can do it as long as you have friends. But this is going to be, unlike the last one, full of spoilers. I'm not going to pull any punches here. I'm not going to, you know, kind of talk about something and walk around it. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, go ahead and click off now. Last chance? All right. Oh, Lord. I had a couple beers last night, too, watching the movie. Because this movie is long. Uh, it has a runtime of, I think, 2:15, maybe 2.5 hours, and it seems a little bit longer than that. They could have probably cut about a half hour of stuff and still had a nice, probably tighter, more directed movie. Anyways, so X Men Apocalypse. They introduce Angel, Nightcrawler, or reintroduce rather, Nightcrawler, Beast without fur because he's taking medication. Uh, Professor X still has hair until the end of the movie. Uh, they give Magneto a family, somewhere in Poland. And of course, they die, and Magneto goes all Magneto. You killed my family, I'm gonna hate you. That's kind of a tired Magneto trope by now. Let's see what else. Uh, Cameos by Jubilee. I don't think she's ever mentioned by name, but she gets a good cameo. A very quick cameo by the Blob. They're carting him out when they introduce Angel and Nightcrawler fighting in the cage. They're carting the Blob out, and especially because he has that old '60s X-Men costume too, the one-piece unitard with the big yellow belt. That's kind of cool. It's kind of a nice throwback. And there's a lot of little things in there too. I definitely didn't catch them all, but another one of the little things is I think it's Scott, Jean, Nightcrawler, and Jubilee. Uh, Basically, kind of break out of the mansion and go to the mall and have wacky kid fun. I was expecting like a Sentinel attack or something, but they really just glossed over all of that. But it shows them leaving Return of the Jedi, and Jean remarking that she didn't like it, and that the third one in the series always sucks. So X-Men 3 sucks, and this is the third one of the reboot. So there you go. And this is definitely not the best one. Anyways, they we have Quicksilver in here, which is easily the best part of the movie. They need to have more Quicksilver because it's just, especially the run effects they do. It's just hilarious. It's fun. It's nice, and he has a really good part in the movie too. He's really you kind of care about the character. He's not just there for comic relief. Let's see what else. Psylocke, Olivia Munn. She made a big deal about how she picked this part over the girlfriend part in Deadpool. I like Deadpool a lot better than this movie, so I don't think that was a good move. Uh, Her character doesn't really get. She may have spoke 5 times, and we're talking like 4 word sentences. Apparently, I can't speak either. Uh, oh, you know, but if you've seen one X-Men movie, you've seen this one. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad movie. It's serviceable, but you're going to know exactly what happens before it happens. You can easily tell, Magneto loses his family. He goes evil. Apocalypse recruits him to be as one of his 4 horsemen, which he doesn't change them. He just kind of helps them unlock their power, so they can freely choose whether to be good or bad, I guess. And of course, Magneto goes bad because he's full of rage. There's a shot where they go back to Auschwitz and he just levels the place. And of course, by the end of the movie, Magneto's still enraged. I'm going to destroy the world. And then, people talk to him. In this case, it's Mystique and Quicksilver who talk to him. Quicksilver doesn't exactly tell him that he's his son yet. And that's teased throughout the movie about him trying to come to terms with whether or not he's going to tell Magneto that he's his son, and he doesn't. Spoiler, he doesn't. But anyways, and then of course by the end of the movie, Magneto comes to his senses, and I'm a okay guy, not a good guy. I'm gonna help the X-Men out. I don't know. Every movie that Magneto's in, they do that, the exact same thing. Hey, I'm evil for a plot device here. By the end of the movie, I'm gonna help the X-Men. They do the same thing in the comics too. So there's not much you can do about it. It is what it is. Uh, Wolverine. Wolverine gets a nice little 2.5 minute bit here. The mansion blows up when Apocalypse kidnaps Xavier. There's also another thing. This is the best Quicksilver part, where they blow up the mansion and Quicksilver's running around saving everybody. That's pretty cool. Havoc. Havoc is like the first person in front of the blast, and he disappears. No body, so he's probably not dead. He's probably in some kind of something. But they kind of bring that up, and Scott's really sad about it for about 2 seconds. If my motherfucking brother died, I would be very, very distraught about it for more than 2 seconds, and then nope, gotta continue the movie. And it's literally like 5 minutes. This is all a continuous. It's not like years go by. This is maybe a 6-hour span. Oh, like, I'm tired, guys. Sorry about that. Anyways, Apocalypse kidnaps Magneto, or not Magneto. Apocalypse kidnaps Professor X, blows up the mansion. Quicksilver saves everybody, but Colonel Stryker comes in on helicopters and hits some kind of wave thing that puts everybody to sleep. And he only kidnaps, a couple of the people, Mystique, Beast, who's blue again. Mystique's blue again. Quicksilver and somebody else. I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, Nightcrawler. Kidnaps Nightcrawler. And Scott, Jean, and... Oh, maybe it's Scott, Jean, and Nightcrawler who hide on the helicopter and they kidnap somebody else. Either way, it doesn't really matter. They take them up to the frozen North Canada, maybe. It kind of looks like the scene from X-Men Origins Wolverine, where they're in the Canadian North. It's all snow-filled. Anyway, Colonel Stryker takes them to the base. He tries to interrogate him. They're like, nah, fuck you. We ain't saying shit. We don't know anything. But if you let us out, we'll help you. And Colonel Stryker's all giving that Stifler look, which the dude looks like Sean William Scott. It's hilarious. All I can think of is Stifler, Colonel Stifler. Anyway, when Jean and Nightcrawler and Cyclops are in the base, they find a large closed door and heavy breathing behind it, which isn't creepy at all. And Jean says, oh, there's somebody in there. And then they let him out. They let the motherfucker out. And he goes off, and here comes Wolverine in his Weapon X costume, where he's got little diodes and everything stuck in him, and the helmet. But the helmet's all cut off so you can see all his face, because, you got to pay Hugh Jackman his money. And he goes on a killing spree, kills like 20, 30 people, like right in front of him. And then Jean has a comic, what I would consider a comic book moment, where Wolverine opens the door to get out. They're right behind him. He doesn't kill them for some reason. He turns around and looks at him, and Jean's like, I can help you. And Wolverine's like, I like me some redheads. He doesn't say that. Wolverine doesn't say anything, because he's still Animal Wolverine. I don't know where this fits in the timeline, but he's Animal Wolverine right now. And, so she touches his face, takes off his helmet, gives him the caressing Jean Grey, I love you, Logan, but I'm going to go with Cyclops kind of feels. And then Wolverine takes off, and that's it. That's all for Wolverine. It was kind of a cool thing, but it could have been completely cut out of the movie and just added in as an extra. That would have saved 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. They go in, they save everybody in the building after they're all dead. They get in a plane and they fly off to Africa, where Apocalypse is, and he's having Magneto destroy the world, because Magneto now has powers over all metal, inside the earth as well. So he's just dredging up all the metal and just flattening everything. And Apocalypse rebuilds his temple. They still have Xavier. Apocalypse is going to try and I think put his mind in Xavier's body so he can control mutants. See, I even forgot about this part because it didn't really matter. But uh, Xavier's using Cerebro, the little helmet, not psych, it's a little fucking telepathy helmet in Cerebro to connect with everybody, and he connects with Magneto. Magneto gives him the whole spiel of, oh, I'm angry, and blasey, blasey, blasey. And Apocalypse overtakes that and launches all the nukes on Earth into space. I don't know why he could have just launched them and had them explode on Earth and then used his Apocalypse magic to brush away the nuclear fallout, but whatever. All the nukes are gone. See what else. There's some other stuff that happens, I know, but really, this is a long movie. It's good. I wouldn't say it's great. It's a nice, serviceable movie, but it just drags the hell on. And there's a lot of exposition, a lot of walking. Hey, we're walking, telling you the story. Hey, we're flying, telling you the story. There isn't a lot of that action, that except towards the end of the movie, where the big action sequences are, where you got Storm coming down, and let's see, Storm is fighting Cyclops. Yeah, Psylocke is fighting Beast, and Jean Grey's just kind of sitting there. I guess one of the big reveals at the end is that Apocalypse is inside Xavier's mind, just beating the piss out of him, and he asks Jean for help, and then Jean comes in, kind of in his mind and outside of his mind, and helps him, and he tells her to release her power, and she goes all Phoenix. So, that was kind of a cool effect. Everybody at the end kind of gathers around the old X Mansion, except for Psylocke. At the end of the movie, Psylocke gets the piss beat out of her and falls out of a plane, and then hits the ground, and she's alive and everything. She gets up and runs away. She doesn't follow everybody else. So I guess that could be setting up something else in the future. But she had maybe 15 minutes of stuff to do in the movie, and she may have said 5 lines. She didn't really have much of anything to do. And her fight scenes, if you've seen the previews, that was the fight scene. There wasn't anything special. Oh, excuse me again. Had a couple beers and some steaks before we went to see this movie. So, still feeling that up. What else? Was there anything? I don't think there was anything else really cool. Oh, already went over the Magneto stuff. The Magneto plot point was the biggest part of the movie, and it was just a rehashing. I think I've said that again. It's just a rehashing of more Magneto stuff. Give Magneto a family, kill Magneto's family. Magneto goes evil. At the end of the movie, Magneto's good again. Same old, same old. Xavier loses his hair in the movie. That's, if for anybody's wondering why, why Xavier, has hair, he doesn't anymore now. Once Apocalypse tried to enter his mind, he lost all his hair. So, I guess that's why. I don't know. Let's see what else. Moira McTaggart's in here. They reintroduce her after the first X-Men First Class. It's said that Xavier wiped her mind so she would forget all of it, and then they need her help again because she's in the CIA, which I completely forgot about. I don't know. They make it a point in the movie, but I don't know. Let's see what else. Already went over some of the outtake, or not the outtakes, some of the little spoiler stuff. The Blob, Return of the Jedi. That's about. For as long as this movie is, there's not a lot that happens. Magneto stuff. They kind of set up Mystique as the leader of the X-Men, and I don't know. It just seems really weird because the movie ends on the out scene of the movie is them in the danger room, and Mystique's all being militant and talking to them like, "You're no longer boys, you're men, you're X-Men, and we fight." and then the Danger Room goes into holographic mode, and Sentinels come out for them to fight, and then that's where it cuts off. Uh, Stan Lee's cameo, Stan Lee, he needs a cameo. As they're launching the missiles up, he's standing outside holding his wife, watching the missiles. Eh, just a small little cameo to say, hey, here's Stan Lee. He's still alive. I think that's about it. I'm trying to think if there's anything other big plot points I missed in the movie, but Apocalypse at the end dies. They show him. I actually don't think he dies. They show him being disintegrated by Magneto, Storm, and Jean Grey / Phoenix. He, basically disintegrates, and he's like, I forget the line he uses, but basically it's all things now I see, or some horse shit like that. Uh, that's about it. I'm really drawing a blank as to what else plot wise is still I still haven't said anything about yet. Uh, that's about it. You know, Mystique now is running around saving mutants. Xavier is teaching. The whole Charles Xavier teaching thing. Hank is a professor at the Xavier School. He's building the X-Men jet, the SR-71 Blackbird copy, but it gets destroyed. When the mansion gets destroyed, so that's a bust. They get their costumes. If you've seen the previews, they're in those black costumes. Those aren't actually costumes; they're flight suits. They steal those from the Stryker base and fly off in the plane when they're going to face Apocalypse for the final time. Uh, that's really it. For whatever reason, the counterpoint to Magneto is Mystique, and because in the last movie she I don't think she really did anything in the last movie. Supposedly she stood up to Magneto or something in the last movie and became a hero. I haven't seen that last movie in quite a long time, but I don't remember her being that hero. And she is everybody. I mean, every mutant in this movie worships her as a hero, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. I didn't see the plot going that way as far as direction wise. I don't think it worked. It was really weird because everybody's like, "You inspire me." Why? I don't. What? What? I don't know. Anyways, I think that's about it. I may think of some more stuff tomorrow when I wake up because I am. Look at my eyes. I can barely see. If you guys have any specific questions, put them in the comments below, and I'll go through and I'll answer anything you have. Maybe I forgot to put in something that you thought was important that you see in the preview, or just have a question about it. Ask in the comment below. I'll read through the comments and I'll answer any questions, and I'll probably have a better handle on my mental faculties tomorrow when I wake up, because good Lord, is it early or late, depending on how you do it. All right, guys, thanks for listening. This has been X-Men Apocalypse. It was a good to okay movie, not great. 2.5 hours of your life, that's kind of long. Anyways, all right, thanks for watching, guys, and you be awesome.